Stargirl, Season 2, Episode 3, titled Summer Storm, Chapter 3. And this episode is better than the last two episodes. Like, it is actually a better episode. But it feels like the plot isn't moving forward. I mean, there's moments that is moving the plot forward, but it doesn't feel like the story itself is. Like, we have the first encounter with Shade. You know, the first encounter with the Justice Society finding Shade and knowing how powerful he is and why he's a threat and all that kind of stuff. And there's a sense of menace towards him. Even if he's just doing oh, have you tried the tea? Oh, it's quite steamy. It's quite delicious. Oh, why are you kids to stay out of my way? Why you do it? Like a very British Buckley voice. But there's a sense of menace towards him. Even though that seems good. And that is kind of moving the plot forward, and definitely the last, couple of minutes of the episode is moving the plot forward. It doesn't feel the story's moving forward, if it makes sense. It feels like they want Thunderbolt to be in a certain person's hands. But they need to do the whole thing of, well, why does it have to be there? What is the reason behind it? And it's a situation where I'm like, do we really need to know? Like, I get the concept of this episode. It's to showcase Mike. Showcase Mike being lonely. He feels like it's the whole thing. Everyone's a superhero except him. And he wants to be one, but he can't because he's not allowed to. He's not allowed to be part of the group. And he feels neglected, and he feels wrong, and he feels all this kind of stuff, and you want to show that for at least an episode. And I get that part, but it just felt we were stalling here. We were halting the plot itself. It feels like we was like, stick to the break, and then it's like, stay. Okay, we're not at episode 5 yet. We need to have episode 5 until we can actually move it forward. Now, I do have my speculations towards why maybe Courtney and the rest of the kids are allowed to be part of it versus Mike. I think it's just a simple thing, between Patrick and Mike. I think it's the classic thing of Patrick is the difference between Mike and Courtney is Mike is actually Patrick's son. So it's that whole thing of how you might treat your biological kids versus the step kids. You might treat them a little bit differently because of it. But yeah, it's a fun episode. You know, Thunderbolt himself, it's a genie. It's trying to be that genie type character who's very loud. I think they even got a comedian to do the voice. It's fine. It's good. They do find that, because the thing about this character Thunderbolt, there's that weird line of him being annoying or not annoying, and I think they found perfect balance, because he's very out there and very wild, but it's he's wild and out there but kind of pulls back. But I just wish they moved the story forward, and I hope they the goofiness of the show, of the season, kind of pulls down a little bit. You may say to yourself, well, season 1 was kind of goofy. Yeah, season 1 was goofy, but it did feel a sense of groundness towards it. It felt like a sense of, it wasn't, gosh golly, if this felt like normal people in a situation dealing with this type of stuff that was happening with an injustice society, while you have a justice society, and you have Icicle and Son of Grundy and all that, and Stargirl and Wildcat, which was kind of neat at the beginning to see Wildcat in his comic outfit, because I don't think we seen that. No, we did saw that. It's just he was dead. We saw Wildcat moving in the costume, and said he died 2 seconds later. But yeah, I have my speculations. I think Shade's doing the whole what they're doing with Shay is he was a bad guy, but he's a good guy, but he wants to do it his own way. So they're trying to do the whole anti-hero thing. It's just at this point, this season is not gripping me. It ain't dragging me to a conclusion of a story that's that gripping and that engaging for me personally. Just personally.